Chapter 1. I noticed the sign out of the corner of my eye while driving to the mall. Eros, the virtual reality fantasy club. The tagline read, "Live out your wildest dreams in the privacy of your own room." With flashing red and yellow lights circulating around the billboard, it was pretty hard to miss. I slowed at a nearby stoplight and glanced at the storefront, squinting my eyes at the frosted glass windows. It was impossible to see anything inside beyond some moving shadows, and I shook my head, wondering what kind of operation they were running. I'd heard of virtual reality, of course. A computer-generated simulation of a realistic environment where you wore special goggles or equipment to focus your attention. But why the frosted glass on the windows? What were they trying to hide? It almost seemed like one of those adult stores where they papered over the windows to protect everyone's identity. And what did they mean by living out your wildest dreams? Was this some kind of fantasy sex club? The more I thought about it, the more intrigued I became. I enjoyed using sex toys and porn videos to simulate sex with imaginary partners, but I was always conscious that I was alone and self-directing my pleasure. The idea of being in a private room with state-of-the-art technology to lose myself in the ultimate fantasy would take my erotic role-playing to an entirely new level. I decided to circle back to the club on my return from the mall to look into it further. But after becoming increasingly distracted while shopping for new clothes, I decided to cut my mall visit short and rushed back to the club, feeling a growing wet spot in my panties. I parked my car a block away from the storefront, then I scurried up to the front door, hoping none of my friends or work colleagues would recognize me. When I opened the door, I saw a tastefully appointed reception area with modern leather armchairs and a pretty receptionist sitting behind a curved desk. "May I help you?" she said when she noticed me peering at the movie-style posters lining the wall depicting various fantasy scenes. Yes," I stammered. "I just noticed your sign and wondered how this works exactly. I've never experienced something like this before." "One of our customer service agents will be with you shortly if you'd like to have a seat," the girl said, motioning to one of the chairs. "May I have your name?" "Jade," I said, taking a seat in the empty reception area, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. The fact that there were no visible sign of customers made me wonder if this operation was legit. But the posters on the wall seemed professionally made and beautifully rendered, with gorgeous models posing in different settings ranging from science fiction to fantasy to exotic tropical islands. I didn't recognize any of the models, and I wasn't even sure if they were real people or just super realistic CGI illustrations. But one thing was for certain. The images they depicted were highly stimulating and real enough to make me squirm in my seat, while I imagined myself in one or more of the scenarios. If the live 3D versions of these characters and settings were anything like the two-dimensional poster illustrations, then I was definitely interested.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?